Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Ellen and I'm going to talk about some movies. I'm going to talk about the movies that I watched in the month of August. Sorry, it is now like way into September. It's been a while since I filmed my book wrap up, which I do also have a book wrap up, so you can go check that one out as well. But for movies, I watched 6 movies. So a good amount to talk about. However, I do only have about like an hour and then I need to get out of here. So we're gonna spend very little time talking about these movies. It's also been a while since I've seen these movies. Oh my god, I thought I saw a cat on my balcony. Anyway, it's been a while since I've seen these movies, so I probably won't have too much to say about them anyway. But let's just get started. So I always like to start with the movies that I rewatched. I realized I have forgotten to do that, I think, the last couple of movie wrap-ups, but that's okay. Sorry. But I only rewatched one movie this month, and that was The Prince and Me. And now we're on to stats. So for the format, I watched 5 digital movies and 1 movie in the theater. 5 of the movies I watched came out this year, and 1 of them did not come out this year. I watched 5 white directors and 1 BIPOC director. And also 5 male directors and 1 female director. So we're not doing too great there. The shortest movie that I watched was 88 minutes, and then the longest was 141 minutes. Total, I watched 648 minutes, which averages to about 20.9 minutes a day. And then for ratings, I watched 2 movies rated TVMA, 1 rated TV 14, 1 PG, 1 PG-13, and 1 R. For genres, I watched 4 romance movies, 1 drama, and 1 action. Stars was not great. This was definitely not a great movie month. Not compared to my book month. The month of August was actually really great for books, so definitely go check that out. But for movies, I watched 3 2-star movies, 2 3 stars, and 1 4-star, which averages to about 2.6 stars. So not great. And because I didn't really like a lot of the movies I watched, I honestly have no idea what order to put them in, but I'm going to try. So like, take my order lightly. So yeah, let's start with the 2 stars. Okay, so my least favorite movie, my least favorite 2-star of the month is He's All That, which I feel like is not a surprise. I know a lot of people have been giving it 1 star, which is fine, but I at least enjoyed it a little bit. So this is like a remake of She's All That, but instead they're makeovering a guy. I have never seen She's All That. I know the girl who loves rom-coms hasn't seen a classic rom-com. I've tried finding it somewhere because I wanted to watch it before He's All That, but I couldn't find a place to watch it for free, so I just didn't watch it. So this is about a girl who's played by Addison Rae, who I had no idea who that was before, but now I do. She's like a TikTok star. She is like popular girl or whatever, and she's dating this popular guy, and then he ends up cheating on her, and it's caught all on camera, on live. And so to kind of like, I guess, get her image back, because for some reason everyone was angry at her and not the guy, which did not make any sense at all. She then decides to make over like one of the most ugliest, disgustingest guys in the school, which he wasn't really like ugly to begin with. It was just kind of like, what I didn't like about him was he was very pretentious, very pretentious. Throughout the makeover, they kind of like fall in love with each other. And that's pretty much the premise of the story. So, okay, I don't even know where to begin. It was like enjoyable enough, but there are issues with it. The acting, meh. Especially Addison Rae. Like, there were some scenes where she was okay or like decent, but there were also a couple of scenes or moments where her acting was just not good. And it was just like, there's no emotion on the face. The other people's acting was also meh. They at least had a few more better moments than Addison Rae. Like, overall, I think the acting was just like meh. I will say the most exciting thing going into the movie for me, which I did end up enjoying, were the two main guys, because they both were in Girl Meets World, which is one of my favorite TV shows. Do not laugh at me. Do not judge me. I love children's TV shows. I can't help it. They're bad, but they're also good. And Girl Meets World I've watched 4 times all the way through. It was very fun though watching the blonde guy play an asshole in this movie, because in Girl Meets World he is like the sweetest kid. And then in this he is such a douche. And honestly, his scenes were kind of like the most enjoyable because he went all in for being a bad guy. I was actually kind of like into it. Not in that way, but like when he was in a scene, it ended up being a little bit more interesting just because he really went for the asshole role. And I thought he did it pretty well. Story-wise, I really did not like that there was like no real message, like how she was in the opening scene. She was like talking to her fans, but she was being fake. And then I thought by the end, like she would stop like doing that, but even the last scene, it felt like that's what she was still doing. Like it felt like she was still being fake. Oh, the dance battle scene too, that one was like way too long. That lasted so long and also just wasn't needed. I don't know why they put a dance battle in the movie. Also, the shots were pretty bland. So like it was cringy at times, but I didn't hate it. Anyway, it was better than what I thought it'd be, but it's still not good, so it's 2 stars. My next 2 star is Resort to Love. This is a Netflix rom-com with Christina Milian. She did another Netflix rom-com, I think 2 years ago. That one was also like okay, but not great. And I'm like, I'm all for cheesy rom-com movies. They're like my favorite. But I don't think this was as good as it could have been. First of all, there was no chemistry between any of the people that are supposed to like semi have chemistry. But like especially our main couple, like they barely had any screen time together. They had I think like 2 scenes together. And then where it's like just the 2 of them. We're supposed to just think that they love each other, that they've fallen in love. So we have Christina Milian's character. She was engaged to this guy and then he like dumped her, or they dumped each other. No, he dumped her I think like right before the wedding. I think this takes place maybe a year after that happens, or maybe 2 years, and she is like about to become this like singer star. But then it all crumbles and crashes, and so she gets a job singing at like a resort, and lo and behold, she is singing for her ex-fiance's wedding to this new girl. So it gets really awkward with that, especially because they start to realize, like they have conversations with each other where they start to realize why they like really broke it off, like what really happened. And it's like, okay, so do they still have feelings for each other? Do they want this to happen? Because like, I feel like they shouldn't. This is technically him cheating on his now fiance. And also like, I don't want her to get with him. But then she starts like falling for his brother. So it is like a little bit awkward and weird. And there are some definitely like cringy moments, but still a little bit enjoyable. I love the drama, and I do think that there were some funny moments, but the acting was pretty average. I think it was better than He's All That, but still just like average. And my last 2-star movie is Annette. I feel like I'm gonna be talking for an hour just about this movie because I felt so weird about this movie. So this movie, the main reason I watched it, because I heard musical and Adam Driver, and I said yes. I should have said no. I didn't realize it was a surrealist movie, and I do not like surrealism. It's just, it's too weird for me, and so this movie was definitely too weird for me, and I did not understand a lot of what was happening And a lot of it too was just like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, what's real and what's fake? Like, I was just so confused by a lot of this movie. I really hated the opening number. The opening number was 100% not needed. Also, a lot of the editing, there was like fades in, fades out. Like, it looked, I don't like a fade in, fade out unless there's like a reason for it, or if it's like, you know, the ending or the beginning. But like, this was just like fades in and out throughout in the middle of a scene, and it just like didn't make sense to me. At least that's how it was in the beginning. I don't think they continued doing that by the end, but I really was not a fan of the editing of this movie. I also did not like the songs. I thought the songs were just very plain and bland and simple, and they bored me. There was even one song that I was like, if I was like laying in my bed right now, I would be put to sleep by this song. I think that was like the song that they were singing when they were like walking through the forest, and they're like, we love each other so much. My favorite character in the whole movie, and he had two of the best scenes, like they were the only like two scenes in the whole movie I actually liked, and that's the conductor. His scenes, I was like, oh, okay, this was actually very well written, very well shot, especially when he's conducting for the first time. And his like monologue, oh my god, the acting of it too, like the conductor was just fantastic and the best part of the whole movie. I really liked the conductor. Adam Driver's acting is also very good, but I didn't understand his comedy stand-up scenes. I realized I never described what this movie's about. So it's about a stand-up comedian who's known for like vulgarity and stuff, ends up dating an opera singer. They get married, they have a baby, and it's like their romance. But like Adam Driver's stand-up comedy scenes, I know like he really put his all into this movie, and you can tell like his acting, whatever Adam Driver does, his acting is always fantastic, which is why I love him. But I didn't understand the stand-up comedy scenes. I do think, however, the last half of the movie was a lot better than the first half. Like, I really hated the first half. I almost stopped watching it. But the last half, especially that last scene too, with the duet between Adam Driver and his daughter, was so good. I will warn you as well, the baby is played by a puppet, and it is the creepiest looking puppet I've ever seen. Like, I want to say creepier than the puppets in The Sound of Music. Those were creepy looking puppets. For the longest time, like watching the movie, I had no idea why the baby was played by a puppet. I didn't get it until the last scene when she turns into a human, which, by the way, that child, whoever she is, she was fantastic. I was like, normally child actors are not good, but she was really good. And my battery is dying. Great. But like, it then made sense why the baby was played by a puppet. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, I get what they were doing. But still, the movie was just a little bit too weird for me, so I gave it 2 stars. Okay, but now we're on to 3 stars, and there are 2 3 stars, and I have no idea what order to put them in because I do have issues with both of them, but there was also things that I really enjoyed about both of them, and I don't know which one to go with first. So I think, which one did I have the most issues with? Okay. This might be wrong. This might change. But I think I'm gonna put Out of My League as my lowest 3 star. This is an Italian movie. It's on Netflix. I watched a trailer and I thought it looked pretty decent, but watching it was awkward. So this is a story about, oh, I just realized usually I like read what the premise of the story is. Oh well, this is about, I believe her name's Marta. Oh my god, I actually remembered a character's name. Marta, who is like dying from this like illness. She has a deathly illness, but she still has a very positive attitude. And so she decides that before she dies, she wants to like date, but not just date anyone. She wants to date the hottest guy ever, someone who is out of her league. Because she's not pretty. She's ugly. Whatever. So she ends up stalking this guy, like for real stalking, like Joe levels of stalking. It's very crazy and very cringy, and it made me feel very uncomfortable to the lengths of which she stalked this guy so she could learn everything about him. And then he like confronts her about it, and she's like, okay, well, I'll stop stalking you if you go on a date with me. So they go on a date, and it's never explained how he falls in love with her, but he does for some weird reason. I couldn't, like, I just think the relationship was like poorly developed. Once it was developed, I enjoyed it when they both like loved each other, but the getting there was just too uncomfortable and weird, and also didn't really make sense. But again, it's about their romance. She also has two friends who were my favorite. She had a gay friend, a lesbian friend, and they were also her roommates, and they were my favorite characters. I also think the acting wasn't great in the beginning, but by the last half of the movie it got a lot better, because I think things got a lot more serious, and so they were better in like a dramatic role rather than a comedic role. Anyway, I think that's all I'm gonna say, because again, battery's running out of time. All right, hi, we're back. We don't have a fully charged camera battery, and I officially have 20 minutes. Okay, so real quick, so we left off, okay, I was just about to talk, wait, did I just talk about Out of My League? Kissing Booth 3, that's where I was. I am so lost. Okay, my highest 3-star, which feels very weird putting it as like my second favorite movie of the month, but that is The Kissing Booth 3. I know not a lot of people like the Kissing Booth series, but I love the Kissing Booth series. This is one of those like just very light, cheesy romantic comedy series that are like bad, but also I love them. This is one of those. And so yeah, I love it. I have such a fun time watching these movies. I do see the issues with it, but I still enjoy my time watching them. So The Kissing Booth 3, we're still following our same characters. Although with this one, Elle is discovering, I believe, like what college she wants to go to, and then like what major she wants to choose, because she got into both Harvard and Berkeley, I think it was. But it's like, what is she gonna choose? Either Berkeley or Harvard, be with her boyfriend or be with her best friend. That's the premise. But in the meantime, her boyfriend and best friend, because they're brothers, their family beach home is being sold, so they're deciding to spend their last summer as epically as possible in this beach house. I still think my favorite of the series is the first one. The second one is probably my second favorite, and this one's my least favorite, but I still enjoyed it. I still have fun with these movies, and I think the reason I have fun watching the movies is because you can tell that the actors have a lot of fun making these movies. And just like with Kissing Booth 2, it is very, very long. There were a lot of scenes that were not needed. The one I'm mainly talking about is the Mario Kart scene. Like, yes, it's fun, and like the actors definitely have fun making that, but there was literally no point to that scene. I don't know, it just felt like there was a lot of moments that could have been taken out, or at least made a lot shorter. Also, with those like same scenes and moments, a lot of it felt over the top. Like, the drama just gets too crazy that it's almost at an unrealistic point. I'm still not a fan of the character of Elle. I think I liked her at first, but she has just done so much lying and just like, I don't know, just like so many things that just don't feel right, that I can't 100% like root for her. I love her friend, and I think we can all agree though that Rachel is the best character. I think that's her name. Rachel is the best character in this movie, as well as, well, the other ladies are just so much better. So like her best friend's girlfriend, I think is Rachel, and then also her boyfriend's best friend. That girl, cannot remember her name, but she is also fantastic. Like, there are some really great characters, but we're focusing on the one who isn't that great. Overall, I still really enjoyed it, so 3 stars. And my last movie that I want to talk about, the 4-star, the only 4-star, the highest rated movie I have here is Free Guy. I really enjoyed this movie. I think Ryan Reynolds is a fantastic comedic actor. He is brilliant. Free Guy is about, I think his name is just Free Guy. No, Blue Shirt Guy. It's about Blue Shirt Guy who works in a bank, and then he finds out that he is an NPC in a video game. An NPC, in case you don't know, stands for non-player character, so he is just a part of the game. And it's a very like violent game as well, but he works at a bank that constantly gets robbed until one day he sees a girl, one of the like players, falls in love and starts doing something different than what he's supposed to be doing, and he kind of like starts having free will and whatnot, and then gets involved in playing this game and involved, I don't know, it's very fun. I also enjoy the moments when we're not in the video game and we're following like the people who are working on the game. My favorite, I love Joe Keery and like everything he does, and also Taika Waititi. Oh my god, I feel like I said that name wrong. Taika Waititi. No, I think I said that right. I really love him. I think he's also great, and I thought he was great in this movie too. I didn't expect some of the cameos that happened. Like, I did not expect Channing Tatum to be in it, but I really liked him. And also Chris Evans makes like a really quick guest appearance, which is great. This movie also had a lot more heart than I was expecting. Like, that last scene was great. Like, they did not need dialogue, they did not need words. All you needed was the look on both of their faces, and you just knew, and it was great. The only issue I think I had with it was like the pacing was just a little bit too chaotic at times, and it did feel like it dragged on a little bit, but overall I had a very, very fun time watching this movie. And now I just want to mention very briefly some TV shows that I watched. It was only 2, and they were both mediocre? I don't know. So first, Mr. Corman. It's an Apple TV Plus, Apple TV, I think it's just Apple TV. An Apple TV TV show with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which was the main reason I wanted to watch it. But he plays an elementary school teacher who just like is not really happy with his life. Like, he's very bored in it and he wants like something new. And it does have a little bit of a fantastical element to it. Like within the first episode there was one scene where like he gets punched, and then when he gets punched he like flies out the window and it turns into like a almost like a cartoon background. It was interesting. So like there's some things that I feel like are reality and some that's just like in his head. But anyway, that TV show, I've only watched like the first 4 episodes and it was okay. At this point I have stopped watching it just because I just wasn't too into it. And then the last TV show I want to mention is The Pursuit of Love. This is an Amazon Prime TV show. It's a very limited series. There's only 3 episodes. They're 60 minutes long each. And it's about these 2 women, I think like right at the beginning of World War II. And it's about them finding love. They're 2 cousins and they just want to find love. And they have different types of love. The one has like falls in love fast and very dramatically and very often, and the other one ends up having like a very stable love relationship. It's one that was like enjoyable, but it's not one I'd ever like want to go back to. It's not one I'd really like tell people to watch, but I really enjoy Lily James, so that's why I watched this. I don't really have a lot to say about the TV shows that I watched. None of them were very exciting enough for me to want to talk about them, which is good because I need to get going. And that is it for this video. Again, I do have a book wrap up for the month of August, which might be a little bit more exciting since there's a lot more to talk about and a lot better things to talk about. I will link that down below though, and I will see you guys later with more videos. Bye!